You are Locked On Giants Postcast, part of Locked On Sports San Francisco on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Giants Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR 680. And today, the Giants bullpen shined as they beat the Chicago Cubs 5-1 at Oracle Park. Randy Rodriguez got the start in the bullpen game, which featured 6 different Giants on the bump, but all were effective as they collectively held the Cubs to just 4 hits. The Giants continued their trend of saving all their hits until after the 7th inning as they plated 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th to give Camilo Doval a little bit of a cushion there in the 9th inning before he shut it down and sent everyone home happy. That's 2 wins in a row now for the Giants after dropping their previous 5, and they're back to winning in the City Connects, which is always, something. We'll break it all down, but first I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Sports San Francisco YouTube channel. Please, if you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. Thanks also for listening on the Locked On Giants podcast feed. However you're getting the show, we appreciate you tuning in, and make sure to check out the Locked On Giants Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. Ben Kaspick does a great job. And this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. The Giants got it going early in this one. Conforto in the bottom of the 2nd singles and scores Soler, moves Chapman over to 3rd on the play. Matt Chapman had a nice grindy at bat in that inning too, where he ended up drawing a walk after seeing like a million pitches. David Villar sac fly scores Chapman, and that was a big one, man, because it felt like that scoring opportunity might be wasted for the Giants there. It put a lot of pressure on David Villar because Soler couldn't get it done in the prior at bat, but VR comes through, or Estrada, couldn't get it done. But VR comes through. Giants get with the sac fly. Giants take a 2-0 lead there in the 2nd. Then in the top of the 3rd, some more issues with Giants defending the steal. Again, this has been something that's plagued this team all season long. This run shouldn't have even probably scored. This bullpen should have blanked the Cubs today, but Nico Horner, after a walk, steals second base, and a Michael Busch single scores him, cuts the Giants lead to just 2-1. Stolen bases really, really continuing to hurt the Giants. And after that, it was just the bullpen trading blows with Hendricks for a long time. Kyle Hendricks, man, this guy continues to just beat up on the Giants. He has been so good against them. What seems like every single time he's on the mound, he pitches like 7 innings of like 1 or 2 hit ball. I mean, this guy is just so dang good against the Giants. I mean, you look at what the Giants are, all their hitters across the board, lifetime averages are not very good against Kyle Hendricks. The only 2 batters batting over 150 against Kyle Hendricks on the entire Giants roster that have seen him before is Michael Conforto, who does have a little bit of ownage against Hendricks. He's batting .333 career coming into today. He's got 2 doubles but has struck out 3 times against him. Brett Wisely has only faced him 3 times, but picked up a hit one of those 3. So those are the only 2 Giants who seem to be able to do anything against Kyle Hendricks. Everybody else on this team, I mean, a lot of really terrible batting averages. I mean, a lot of guys just batting over against Kyle Hendricks on this Giants team. Wilmer Flores, Tyro Estrada, both batting below 150. Wilmer's career batting average 143 against the guy in 21 at-bats. That's very telling of what Kyle Hendricks has done to the Giants. Seemingly every time he's on the mound, it doesn't matter how old this guy gets, doesn't matter how slow he throws, that changeup just seems to work different than any other pitcher's changeup out in baseball right now. Hendricks, who's got a 6.87 ERA on the season, is just 1-5 on the year, but whenever he pitches against the Giants, turns into like, I don't know, just amazing. Turns into like an all-star level pitcher, it seems like, every single time. And he stayed in this one deep. He kept pitching until the Giants finally chased him out. I mean, Hendricks was really dealing through 7 innings, and then in the 8th inning, when they finally got into the bullpen, they did some damage. And we've seen this lately. The Giants, yesterday they kind of had the same thing against Steele. Sunday when they played the Cardinals, they couldn't do anything against Sonny Gray. So the Giants need to find how to hit starting pitchers. That seems to be a big issue for this team lately, even though they're only, seeing these bullpen arms one at bat each for all these guys facing all these bullpen arms. Can't figure out these starters like second, third time through for whatever reason. They need to start making some adjustments and actually get to these guys. I mean, or at least have some more competitive at bats, get them out of games earlier. Hendricks was able to throw 100 pitches over these 7 innings and last a little bit longer. Like, take some walks, work some counts. Matt Chapman was had a nice grindy at bat where he made him throw a bunch of pitches, but it seemed like there were a lot of very quick at bats for the Giants today. They only managed to pick up 5 hits against Hendricks and 1 walks, only 6 base runners over those 7 innings. It's tough to win a game that way, but the Giants managed to do it today, thanks in part to the bullpen and what they did on the mound. They continued to match what Hendricks was doing up there. Rodriguez gave up 1 run. He lasted 2 2/3, gave up the 1 run after the Nico Horner steal and single by Michael Busch. Everybody else on this Giants staff blanked him, and the last 3 guys who pitched, Walker, Rogers, and Doval, didn't even allow a hit. So the Giants bullpen really buckled down when they needed to get it today. They had 11 strikeouts. I mean, they were just on today. Rodriguez by himself had 5, and they only walked 4. So great job by the bullpen all the way around. Everybody who pitched today: Sean Jelly, Randy Rodriguez, Taylor Rogers, Tyler Rogers, Ryan Walker, Camilo Doval, everybody contributing in this Giants win. And they'll need to start having someone else pitch other than these same arms out of the bullpen, or you're going to run out of gas pretty soon, because this bullpen, as we've talked about multiple times, is gassed at this point. But we'll talk about that. They seem to have a solution for tomorrow's game. We'll get into that a little bit later in the show. But in this one, the bottom of the 8th, the Giants, when they finally started to score some runs after they chased Hendricks out of this game, Luis Matos, it was all the young kids in the bottom of the 8th. It was great to see the Giants continue to score late in games, but it was all generated from the youth, man. Matos singles, and then Brett Wisely smashes one to right field in what should have been a home run. He got oracled on that. Would have been a home run in every other MLB ballpark in 29 out of 30 yards, but he smashes a double off those bricks in between the 7th and 8th archways. Cody Bellinger played it really, really well. Otherwise, Matos probably would have scored on that play. He also did not get the best jump on that one. So runners at second and third. Ramos draws a walk. Bases loaded. All 3 guys, none of them started the season at the big league level. All 3 were in the minors. And then after a Pat Bailey fielder's choice where Matos was thrown out at home, a Jorge Soler sac fly gives the Giants a 3-1 lead. And man, that was kind of a big moment, because not only did it give the Giants a little bit of a cushion there, but Jorge Soler has just been so bad with the bases loaded this year. He's batting under 100. He's batting 90.091 in those such situations. He's only got 5 RBIs, 1 hit all season in those situations. And if you remember, it was a grand slam not that long ago. And so Jorge Soler, 4 of his only 2 times has he come up in a situation like this and produced a run for the Giants. One of them was a grand slam. The other time was a sac fly. He comes up with just his second bases loaded sac fly of the season this year. It might have actually been a ground out. Not sure if it was a sac fly or a productive ground out that scored him. But point being, only his second productive out in bases loaded situation to score a run this entire season, man. So it's been rough sledding. Don't have to tell you guys how tough it's been for Jorge Soler in these situations, but he is starting to come around. Since the Houston series, dude has really been playing a lot better. He's been much more controlled at the plate, not chasing pitches. He's actually hitting the ball squarely. He's not just popping everything up. His bat path looks a lot shorter to the ball. Today he did pick up a hit as well, 1 for 3 on the day. His batting average at 224 on the season, that OPS at 695. So slowly climbing back to somewhat respectable numbers for Jorge Soler. He just needs to get those RBIs up, man. That's what they signed him to do, is bring some runners in, and that's what he needs to start doing. The Giants also tacked on 2 more runs there in the bottom of the 8th as Chapman came up after Jorge Soler and plated 2 more with a single. Giants then take a 5-1 lead into the 9th, and Camilo Doval looked as sharp as ever. I mean, he's a guy who's been really, really, really bad on multiple days of rest and in non-save situations. And today, a non-save situation and on more than a week's worth of rest. It was good to see him go out there and do his thing. His slider looked as good as it ever has tonight. I mean, he could have just gone out there and thrown only sliders, and he probably would have been able to get out of that inning just fine. But threw a couple 101, 102 mile an hour cutters just for good measure. And all this is great to see because according to Mark A. Simon of Sports Info Solutions, when Doval has 3 or more days of rest, his ERA over 8.64. Again, when he has 3 or more days of rest, his ERA up at 8.64. So that was coming into today. Obviously, the nice clean inning for Doval tonight was just refreshing. And he had a nice clean inning. His last outing, which was more than a week ago, Monday, not yesterday, but a week ago from yesterday in Chicago at Wrigley, he had a nice clean inning there. So good to see Doval doing his job on the mound out there. Got a strikeout tonight as well. And those, as I said, that slider was really doing some work for him out there on the mound tonight. We got to take a quick break, but a lot more to get into. All these young guys really doing a lot of work for the Giants. I mean, Ramos continues to come through, and I mean, everybody, all the young guys. Wisely is one of my favorite young players on this team. More about the young kids on the other side, and the Giants. They're going to need to figure out a solution for all these bullpen games. The bullpen did a great job tonight, but you can't lean on them every single day. We saw what happened when you do that with the Gabe Kapler regime these last few seasons. So what are they doing tomorrow? They have a solution. One of the most exciting young arms of this Giants entire prospect system is going to be making his debut tomorrow. You aren't going to want to miss that. Stay tuned as we break it all down on the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. Here on the Locked On Giants postcast, we pride ourselves on getting you the latest news for your team, whether it's the offseason, the draft, spring training, the playoffs, pregame, postgame, any time of the year. It is year-round. You know what else is year-round? Collection season. Just because tax season is over doesn't mean the IRS will stop coming after you for unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. Don't let the IRS target you. Get the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. With over 14 years of experience and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season and need help filing correctly, call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/locked-on. See the link in this episode description below for more details. And today's episode is also sponsored by SupplyHouse.com. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is jam-packed with helpful resources and the latest product info that help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every time. I love that. I hate those damn machines. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Did I mention it is free? Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com/T-M and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I am your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and man, today the Giants finally get a little bit of a win streak going. Can we call 2 games in a row a streak? After they dropped 5 in a row on the road, the Giants come back to Oracle Park, win a couple games against the Cubs. They're starting to get rolling a little bit more at the dish. The bullpen is shining bright after today, and they got another a jewel in the crown, should I say? I mean, maybe that's a little bit of too much hyperbole for a team that's a couple games under 500 right now. But the Giants have one of their top prospects finally making his debut tomorrow. I shouldn't really say finally either, because this guy has just absolutely flown through the Giants minor league system. I'm talking, of course, about Hayden Birdsong. He is going to be making his Giants debut tomorrow, and man, oh man, am I excited. This kid is electric on the mound. He's got such good stuff. This kid might be even better than Carson Whisenhunt and these other Giants prospects. I'm actually very surprised to see Birdsong making his debut Whisenhunt's already made his debut, but I'm surprised to see Hayden Birdsong up with the big league club this season before we see Carson Whisenhunt back with the big league club. It's a shock to me. I mean, this guy just flew through the ranks, started the season with Richmond Flying Squirrels. He's made 2 starts with the Sacramento River Cats, and now he's up here with the big league squad. Just a month ago, he was down in Richmond as recently as June 8th. So earlier this month, just a couple of weeks ago, he was starting games for the Flying Squirrels, and now he's going to be starting games for the San Francisco Giants. And let's take a look at his minor league numbers over his career as a minor leaguer. He's got an ERA that sits right around 3.02 across all minor leagues this season across AA and AAA. ERA sitting at 2.51 with a 5-2 record. That's over 13 games and 57 1/3 innings pitched. He's got 75 strikeouts in those 57 innings. That's a pretty damn good K per 9. His whip at 1.17. This guy's dominant. He's got really, really solid swing and miss stuff. And his last start came on Friday, the 21st, so just a couple days ago, versus the Round Rock Express with the Sacramento River Cats. He threw 91 pitches. He makes his living throwing a bunch of different ones up there. He's got a 4-seamer, he's got a cutter, he's got a curveball, he's got a changeup, he's got a slider, he's even got a sinker he'll mix in there. He goes to a slider and his changeup. Slider and his curveball, more than his other secondary pitches. So we'll see if he continues to throw all 6 of those at the big league level. I don't know if he's going to do that. Most young guys don't really do that. They pick just the 3 best and roll with that. So I wouldn't be surprised if Birdsong kind of limits that as well. Maybe cuts down on the number of pitches he's throwing. That fastball can get up to 97, 98 miles an hour. He usually lives right around 95 with it. He's got some movement on all these pitches. That slider sits around 85 right there as well. So he's got some velo to him, but it's interesting to see what this guy can do. I mean, the Giants really desperately need starting pitching help, and it's no secret that, how hurt this Giants team is. They have so many guys waiting to come back, and you got Blake Snell and Robbie Ray making these rehab starts, but it's really going to be going forward. This is a guy who the Giants expect to be a piece of the franchise. The starting rotation going forward: Hayden Birdsong, Carson Whisenhunt, Kyle Harrison, Logan Webb, and pick a 5th prospect. That's your rotation of the future if the Giants choose not to trade any of these arms, which we'll see what happens over this next month as the trade deadline approaches. If the Giants become buyers or sellers, because they are right on the fence, man. If they become sellers, though, I would be pretty surprised, because I think Farhan doesn't really want to give the vibe that the Giants are not in contention right now for the sake of his job. You know what I mean? I think he's got to give the perception of success if the Giants are going to continue to keep him in the role that he's been in. So Hayden Birdsong going to come up and make his debut tomorrow. I'm very excited about this kid. He doesn't walk a ton of guys, tons and tons and tons and tons of strikeouts. from Hayden Birdsong. So we will see what he can do with the Giants. He's a guy who can eat some pitches too. Giants stretched him out to 91 pitches in his last outing. So that's been one of the main issues for the Giants is like, can this guy pitch deep into games? Can this guy pitch past the 4th inning? Hopefully past the 5th inning. I mean, if he can pitch like into the 7th inning effectively, I mean, he's in Logan Webb territory all of a sudden. I'm kidding, of course, but I mean, Logan Webb's the only guy who can pitch seemingly for this entire Giants starting pitching staff past the 6th inning. They just need somebody who can go out there and eat some innings and take some weight off this bullpen. So Hayden Birdsong is the guy for the Giants. They'll be turning to him tomorrow. Another night game tomorrow. Weird Wednesday evening game. Usually Wednesday is the day game, but tomorrow a 6:45 start on the Wednesday because we do have a 4-game series against the Cubs. They'll wrap it up with a day game on Thursday. And Jordan Hicks will start the Thursday game. But tomorrow, Hayden Birdsong, I'm excited if you can get out to the yard, go out there. I think they have the Jung-Hoo Lee t-shirt giveaway, the Jersey giveaway tomorrow, which will be pretty cool too. So get out to the yard if you can. And we got some more to break down from this game. We spent a little time talking about Hayden Birdsong projecting into tomorrow. Let's get back to more from this game. The youth movement, man. How are these young kids doing? Stick with us on the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 5 million members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections for a chance to win 100 times your money. Baseball season is officially over, and there's no better way to cash in on the action than PrizePicks. Add your favorite players from the diamond to your PrizePicks lineups all season long. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, take your pick of more or less and add them to your PrizePicks lineup today. You can now win up to 100 times your money with baseball-only lineups on PrizePicks. If you submit a winning lineup featuring 4 Demon Squares, you'll cash in big time on the biggest moments of baseball's early season. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. It's PrizePicks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and tonight the Giants win 5-1 out at Oracle Park. They are now 38-42. They are slowly climbing back to 500. The never-ending climb back to 500 for this Giants team that we have talked about all season long. And it's been rough. Pitching's been really tough. I mean, we talked about starting pitching a lot. The Giants, it's also worth mentioning, the Giants recalled Mason Black today from AAA. They sent Burgess back down, Raymond Burgess, who made his debut yesterday. Didn't go super well for Burgess, gave up 1 run in the debut, but Mason Black he had a mixed bag of results, should we say, in his first stint with the big league club, but they need to bide some time before Blake Snell, Robbie Ray, and company can come back from all these plethora of injuries. And in the meantime, the Giants, though, the baby Giants, Brett Wisely, Elliot Ramos, Luis Matos, they all contributed there in that 8th inning rally for the Giants. And we talked about it a couple shows ago. We've talked about it a lot this year. The youth movement, man, when the youth plays, the Giants seem to have all this late life, this late energy. And I really do think it is in part due to just the inexperience of these guys. They don't know how to get down on themselves. They don't know that they're supposed to be out of these games late in them. I mean, today they did lead going late into the 8th inning before they had that big rally, but I don't think these guys know that, they're not supposed to keep hitting when they've been skunked pretty much all day long. And it seems like an every night occurrence now where the Giants, even if they don't muster a comeback win, if they're down, I mean, they're not dead in the water by any means at any point in time. This team has a lot of fight, a lot of grit to them. And Brett Wisely, man, has done a great job. He's someone who I think that doesn't get talked about enough. He gets a little overshadowed by Elliot Ramos. I mean, in Luis Matos, when he's been on, he has been so on, but Wisely has been really, really consistent today. He was right in the middle of that big rally with that double off the wall that would have been a home run in any other park. He's had just over 100 plate appearances now, and the kid is doing a great job at the dish. I mean, he changed his batting stance a little bit to get a little taller and stand up a little higher instead of being so low and so compact at the dish, and that's really helped him see the ball a lot better. He's batting over 300. He's at 301. The OPS is 774. He had another multi-hit game tonight. He had 2 hits tonight. He and Matos. The two young kids making the contributions. The baby Giants picking up multi-hit games. Those were the only 2 Giants with multiple hits tonight. Wisely and Matos. The Giants as a team picked up 8 hits, 4 of them from just those 2 kids alone. So I keep calling them kids. They're full-grown men, but they're young. It's hard not to get excited about the youth movement here with the Giants. I mean, this team, a lot of people, it's frustrating. I get it, man. Like, they've been up and down. They're inconsistent. But the thing that you can hang your hat on is this youth is here to stay. Like, I mean, there is no sign that this isn't sustainable or going to be duplicatable. Wisely, the number of different positions that he plays, he is a super utility guy. The Giants can find a place for him pretty much whenever they want to in the field. And I think he's got to keep playing. I mean, I really like him in that leadoff spot in the top of that order. He and Ramos batting back to back. I really like that combo. Ramos, after picking up 3 hits yesterday, went 0 for today, but he did draw a walk and score a run in that 8th inning, which was a big moment for the Giants. But they're inconsistent all year long, but their hitting from their youth has been the one thing that's been pretty consistent, and that's kind of surprising, because when you went out and you got a Jorge Soler and a Matt Chapman, I know they're not the most they're not the most consistent hitters. Their batting averages career-wise are nothing to write home about. That's not what those guys do well, particularly at the plate. But it's been good to have a part of this team actually be consistent as a group. And if there aren't too many groups on this Giants team, whether you want to point at the bullpen or the starting pitching staff or the free agent class or whatever it is you want to group these Giants into, the one group, so to speak, that has been good indisputably is the youth. I mean, Matos is batting 240. I mean, Ramos is batting 295. Wisely's batting 300. Ramos is just on an absolute tear as far as RBIs go in this month, and home runs, lead up near the top of the league in both of those categories. But the Giants youth movement is here to stay, and they should only get better, which is why I think this team really is poised to have a much better second half than first half. There's no way that they can sustain as many injuries in the second half as they did in the first half, right? Like, it has to be some regression to the mean. They're not going to have like 7 starting pitchers injured in the second half, right? Like, they got to have something start to fall their way. That's just how life goes. You win some, you lose some. The Giants been losing some a lot lately. It's time for them to win some and get some of these arms back. And Robbie Ray is working his way back. Blake Snell working his way back, although who knows how that's going to really go. Hopefully they let him get fully healthy before he starts pitching for the Giants again. But it's someone's got to come back and make a contribution. Alex Cobb, Tristan Beck, somebody needs to come back and make a contribution for this Giants team. And it's going to be interesting to see what Hayden Birdsong can do. That is going to be a very, very, very key thing tomorrow to watch. The Giants still have Carson Whisenhunt waiting down there. So there's a ton of opportunity for the Giants to have a really, really good second half. If the starting pitching can become more consistent and eat some more innings, give the bullpen some time to rest and not have to pitch the most innings in all of baseball, then this team will get a lot better. The bullpen's been pretty good, but eventually when they get worn down, they give up some runs. And that's kind of why that happens with any bullpen. Any bullpen that's going to throw as many innings as the Giants is going to get beat up a bit. And it's, I mean, I think for all the work that they've had, the Giants bullpen has done a pretty outstanding job. I mean, they've had a couple blow-up games, but I think they've been pretty solid, especially lately, having to pitch all these bullpen games and still being able to come out here and look what they did today. 4 hits, 1 run. I mean, this was a great performance. 11 strikeouts by the bullpen, only 4 walks. They did a great job really limiting the Cubs. There wasn't a ton of threat on the base paths at any point in time. They did give up, as we said, 8 base runners, but it never really felt like the Cubs were threatening to put something together and get back into this game. Never really felt like that was on the table for them. So credit the Giants bullpen, credit the youth for giving Camilo Doval some insurance there in the ninth, and credit Camilo Doval. It wasn't a save opportunity, but the dude struggles in these types of situations where it's not a save opportunity, and he's had a lot of rest. And we talked about that earlier in the show. And Doval with a 1-2-3 ninth and a strikeout, he pitched great. So good win for the Giants. They won again in the City Connects. All is right in the world. Carl the Fog was out there thick today here in San Francisco, so it makes sense that they were wearing the City Connects with all the fog on them as well. A traditional San Francisco summer day out here in the city by the bay. That's all the time that we got for you guys today on the Locked On Giants postcast. Stick with us tomorrow as we'll be coming to you live from after the third game of this series. Giants got 2 more in this series against the Cubs. Hopefully they keep on winning. They need all the wins they can get before they play the Dodgers. You guys think the Giants going to get swept by the Dodgers? I think that's a very real possibility with the way that this team has been playing, because the Cubs, it's nice to get these wins, but the Cubs are nothing to write home about, man. This team is 37-43. They are not very good. And the Dodgers, well, that team's one of the best in baseball. So we'll see what the Giants do against the Dodgers. They got the Mickey Mouse ears giveaway coming up, which is that I don't think you really need to poke the bear on that one. We can all agree that 2020 I'll use air quotes World Series title, which is just, I mean, I don't think they should have even played a World Series that year or given it the same title. Should have called it something else. But we all know how fake that World Series title is, and I don't think you need to poke the bear that is the 2024 Dodgers, though, with the Mickey Mouse ears 4 years after the fact, when the Giants are just trying to scratch and claw their way back to 500. Not a great look for the Giants, in my opinion, on that one. Nonetheless, I digress. We'll be coming to you live after the game tomorrow, 6:45 start out at Oracle Park for the Giants, as Hayden Birdsong makes his MLB debut, his Giants debut, and he gets to do it in the cream homes. Oh, I love those home cream unis. I mean, the City Connects, their record in them I really like, but the actual uniform is yikes. That's my analysis on the Giants City Connects is big yikes. We got to get on out of here. We're a little bit over time. That's going to do it for us on the Locked On Giants postcast today. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Peace.